All right, so today we're laying out and installing our floor tile. Just a few considerations. We've got all of our cement board down, all of our hardy backer down. It's installed and it's screwed with special screws every 6 inches. Makes a great service for installing tile. We absolutely love this stuff. Way back in the day, we used to use Luan plywood stapled down, and we had a lot of failures when I was younger in my career with tile, a lot of warranty work and stuff like that. After they came out with this stuff, we went nuts with it. We love it. So the layout, we've got the room is set up to where we're going to have cabinets along both walls here. So we have to contend with that. We're going to use that to hide the cut edge of our tiles. And Ray and I, the layout is going to be pretty simple on this one. We're not going to necessarily follow lines as much as we're going to follow reveals, is how we like to put it. We want the homeowner to see the best product as opposed to everything being perfectly straight up against crooked walls. The room is out of square by about 3/4 of an inch, over 10 feet, which isn't a little bit. We've had worse, but so we've got to contend with that. But luckily, we're cabinets on 3 walls here, except for coming in the back door underneath the window. We're going to have cabinetry, so a lot of that stuff will be hidden underneath the cabinets, and we'll use that to our advantage and make this thing look really good. Okay, so the way we're going to set this up, we've got a big tile here. All right, we've got a 12 by 24 floor tile, real thick, heavy-duty stone tile, really, or ceramic tile, really nice stuff. Perfect for a flooring application. There's some things to consider when we're laying this thing out. All right, what we would typically do is we would go from our widest point across the room in 2 places. So from this wall over to this wall, we would find the center of that on both ends of the room and chalk a line straight down the middle. We would then start laying tile on either side of that line going in both directions. That way we would have even cuts on both sides and balance it. However, it's a little bit different with this room because along this wall, and along most of this back wall and along our other wall here, it's all cabinets. So you're not going to see the edge of the tile where it's cut against the wall. The only place you're really going to see it is right here, this little turn around this corner you can see. We're not going to have any cabinetry in this. So we need clean full tile here. So what we're going to do is, instead of finding center and going both ways, we're going to start right here with the full tile. We'll have a running bond pattern, which is you're familiar with that with brick. So we're going to have like a brick pattern. So we'll have a half a tile here going this way and a full tile going this way. We will bring this all the way across the room going this way. And that way, we're only having a 2-inch piece up against this whole wall that we have to cut and install that will all be covered by cabinets anyway. Going the other direction, we would normally do the same thing. We would go from this wall here all the way over to our threshold and find the center of the room and start laying both ways. But again, we have simply all these cabinets up against this wall. Underneath the window is where the cabinets terminate, and we actually will we'll have a 2-inch tile going all the way up against this little wall up against the door, the back door. But we'll start with a full width tile here. And you can see Ray has already chalked a line right there that gives us our parallel that goes all the way into that wall and takes us evenly all the way back. We like to lay these things out so it looks the best. Not necessarily is balanced the best, but looks the best. And you can see as Ray's laying these things down and dry fitting it, how it's going to be set up. He's checking out his spacers, just getting some spacing set up and verifying some measurements. All right, so Ray is setting up our spacer system now. We use a wedge system that virtually guarantees that all the height of the tile will be the same across the whole floor. We work on mostly older homes. We don't do a whole lot of new construction work. And this wedge system allows everything to be evened out across the top of the tile when the flooring is actually, or the subfloor is actually pretty wavy. This one's actually pretty flat. We just like this system. It's really nice, and you can get different thicknesses of these, so you have a bigger joint, but we like a little bit tighter joint, gives a little more of a nicer profile. And Ray's using this also for his layout. You can see he's marking his tile where it's going to lay out and set up. So yeah, we really like this stuff. We get this stuff at the tile shop, and it's really makes it look very nice when it's finished, nice and even surface. All right, Ray's mixing up our first batch of thin set. We use gray on most of our floors. Depending on the grout, we like gray grout with gray mortar, or vice versa. We like gray mortar with gray grout. So we just mix it up. It's water. We use a mixing blade. He makes it pretty wet, and then he'll we'll go ahead and add more to it and add more to it until we get kind of a thin, runny peanut butter mix. We make a lot of this at one time, so we want to make sure we over wet it a little bit, and just so it has longer working time. You can always add a little bit more water to it, but you just have to be careful that you're not putting too much water, that you're diluting it to the point to where it loses its adhesive properties. We will use a big notch trowel. We like the MyPay stuff. You can see the ceramic tile mortar, gray color. I'll put a link to this in the description of where we get it from. We normally get it from Lowe's or the tile shop. All right, you can see Ray's got the first couple tiles set up here. Nice thick bed of mortar. We like to use on our floor tile the big tooth trowel. Big teeth on this bad boy. These are, I think, 5/16 or 5/8 or half inch thick. When you're using floor tile, doing floor tile with heavy mortar, you want a big notch. You don't want the fine, small, thin notches. It just doesn't grab that tile, and it doesn't allow for displacement of your mortar, which is important for adhesion, proper adhesion. You can see how he's doing these. When he sets the tile in the mortar, he puts these orange spacers underneath the tile. And the wedges you put in and use a special tool that ratchets them into place, and it has teeth on them that grab it. This guarantees that the top of the tile lines up perfectly all the way across the floor. We've got a little bit of deviation on the height of the tile because of the floor rolling. Based on that, we use these spacers, and everything is perfectly even across, no matter what the floor system underneath it is doing, how much deviation is. So he's gonna have his first cut piece right here, and then he's gonna follow this process the entire way. He'll do all this floor in this exact same manner. We'll go through about 300 of these spacers. The beautiful thing is, after this tile is dry tomorrow, we'll take the brown shim out, the brown wedge, and we will simply snap off the orange part, and they all go away. They just get thrown away, the little scrap pieces. So this is a great system. We've had a lot of luck with this thing, and it really makes it, a finished product, look really, really great. This place is great. It's actually a national chain. They're all over America. I think they have some in Canada too, but really great place. We're gonna walk around in here a little bit, do a little bit of B-roll. Really cool stuff in here, tons of tile. It's just on the north side of Indianapolis. There's one on the south side too, but this place is awesome. It is like the Shangri-La. There's another place we buy tile at called Floor and Decor, which has a lot of stuff. It's similar to this. I feel like they have a few more higher end options here, and we get great pricing in here as contractors. So let's take a walk around real quick. Here we are with the tile shop. This place is just great. They have more tile and more options in these aisles for tile than any place I've ever seen. There's a new place in town called Floor and Decor also that has some cool stuff, but all these showers, they got neat vanity setups in here. Really neat options. Look at this, a tile looks like wood. You know, it is a wood inlay. Looks really great. They set all this stuff. It's interesting because they change their floor layout like every 2 to 3 years. So they remodel their entire store probably every 3 to 4 years. Do a really great job here. Contractors get significantly heavy discounts here. We get a ton of money off. We can get 40 to 50% off a lot of the tile that you guys see in stock. Yeah, you need tile. This is the place to go. This is where I send almost all my homeowners to select tile. All right, it's coming together. Ray's got about 3/4 of it done. Looks pretty sharp, nice and straight, nice and level. Everything's going real well. He's got about that much left to do. It's a Friday, so he'll probably get most of that done. There's a small little section in the entryway that we have to do that we'll wait till Monday to complete. That way we'll do that early on Monday morning, and then the homeowner can have access to the basement. You can see that goes down the stairs to get down there for whatever she may need to get down there at the end of the day on Monday. So she'll have a chance to get in and out of there all through the weekend and not having to worry about stepping on the wet mortar or the tiles, so it'll keep them from sliding around. All right, here we are. Ray's got our install done. Look, turned out really nice. He's mixing up the grout right now, but you can see nice, big, consistent job. Even across the top, those spacers do a great job for us on that. Ray takes his time, makes sure he gets his cuts right. You can see what I mean, where we've got some small cuts on one side here, and about approximately the same cut on the other side here. But one of the more important parts is, looks like full tiles here. That's what we were going for. That was our desired effect, and Ray did a good job with that. So he's mixing up the grout now. When he gets the grout in here, we'll show you guys how we do our grout. So here's our grout mix. Ray's got the sponge. We use grout sponges. He makes it pretty loose. This is a little bit thicker than I normally make it, but Ray likes it a little bit thicker. I like it looser so you can pour it on out. So Mikey's going to show us how we do this. He just simply grabs some out of the bucket, smooths it out. This is a real dark grout, so it's hard to see. We wanted kind of a consistent look here. He dumps that out and just starts spreading it, making sure he gets everything filled in real tight. As you can see, it goes pretty quickly. They should be able to grout this whole floor in less than a couple hours. All right, so the other part of this process that Ray's doing now, we get a couple buckets of clean water, and Ray just goes through and is constantly cleaning behind him, picking up all the old grout, making sure everything's filled in real nice and smooth. But it's a constant process of cleaning, applying, and then clearing out your water. He'll have probably 20 or 30 different changes on his buckets of water by the time it's all said and done with. You can see we use the big grout sponges. And as he cleans it off, as he's starting to wipe it away, you can start to see the effect of what we're going for here. We'll get a little section cleared off for us. This grout's kind of this tile is a bit of a challenge because it's very porous, and it's got a kind of a rippled texture on the top of it, almost like a hammered texture. It's a commercial grade tile, so it's made for large mall areas and things like that. Just we happen to use it on this job, so you can kind of get the look of what we're going for here. See the grout lines coming through. It's a little bit lighter gray than the tile. It looks really sharp though. That's a really nice color, and it's going to go real well with this kitchen. So here's our finished product. Everything's grouted. It's the next morning. Got everything cleaned up. A couple streak marks here and there. But as you can see, the tile is nice and even, nice and level. Goes all the way into the back door entryway, down to the steps. Nice and even. Homeowner loves it. We love it. Great tile. This stuff is a really, really nice tile. Really great product. We did not provide this. The homeowner provided this. But I think it turned out great.